Hello, everyone, and welcome to this recording as a training for the Step Care Model tool in supporting employee emotional and psychological support. Throughout this presentation, I'm going to focus on two main areas. One is the project itself related to the organizational health and well-being strategy and the work of the Central Region. And then I will lead you through the Step Care Model, first as its tiered implementation strategy, and then again, using an example of supporting a colleague or individual in navigating through this support. The intention of this training has really been built on that identified need to be able to increase the comfort level and narrative when it comes to communication in supporting colleagues, in navigating and accessing well-being supports, and also to encouraging a psychologically safe work culture through the use of this universal system and structure. So a little bit of background: in 2022, representatives from 16 organizations in the Central Region joined to form the pool of respondents that would begin the work of the organizational health and well-being strategy. At that time, the trends were definitely indicating high levels of distress, indicated levels of burnout amongst workers across all sectors. And at this time, it was also abundantly clear that although there were a variety of promotions and supports, there was not one universal method in order to support workers within organizations, one pathway to increase access to those supports, but also we were working primarily in a reactive stage and less from that prevention and promotion of employee well-being. So the goal of this intake process was really to first assess each of the organization's maturity level as it related to their current practices, their policies and programs that sponsor the commitment and promotion of employee well-being and psychological health. They were able to analyze and compile the responses that were submitted from the Central Region and create a tool that would become universal for the beginning for these 16 organizations to use as a foundational piece in their practice for employee well-being, but is now branched out across multiple sectors. So results from those intakes really did demonstrate very robust systems that support psychological health, safety, and wellness. However, there was not one universal system or roadmap to support across all organizations. And also was indicated that there were varying levels of maturity depending on the organizations. So in creating the Step Care Model tool, the intention was to ensure this definitive common language, a narrative, and also a focus for a type of service or support that would be recommended related to those varying levels of well-being need. It was also necessary to ensure this consistent process and communication strategy of services that really focus on high quality, that are culturally responsive, but most of all, accessible to all. So the Step Care Model tool, as I lead you through that, you will see first that initial check-in and pathway and refinement strategy, but then ultimately leading to a one-path opportunity for quick access and support. So because these slide decks, I know that graphic may be a little bit blurry, but this is a visual of the Step Care Model poster. This is a three-tiered implementation strategy for the Step Care Model. At the top of the poster, you will see a title and a brief description of its purpose. And located to the right of that title, there is a list of set directions for staff that you do see blown up on this slide here. Training on proper usage of the Step Care Model is going to demonstrate this tiered and measured approach. Each tier of this tool serves a unique purpose, and although they are mutually exclusive, they share this interconnectedness to working through each area of that wellness wheel with the goal of being able to improve coping skills and strategies by the time you reach the final section that focuses on reaching your desired state for well-being by connecting to those high quality supports and services. One thing I will stress is when supporting someone or even using this tool yourself, please try to resist the temptation to rush through the process and dig a little deeper, be able to ask the right questions as to how you're truly feeling to complete this first section of the well-being wheel to be most accurate in defining how you are feeling. The directions, again, are displayed at the top of the step care model, and the order of direction of each step is very detailed. So we'll begin by exploring the tool one tier at a time. The first tier of the step care model tool is the well-being wheel. This is meant as a tool to encourage self-exploration, and it's promoting that concept of how our emotions and feelings drive our behaviors and needs. So this should sound familiar for any work related to psychological self-care or emotional intelligence, but it's using these internal check-ins to be able to relate back and identify those emotional and physical symptom prompts and help give individuals the opportunity as they're moving throughout this step care model tool to hone in on their most accurate current state of wellness by identifying areas in their life that they may have neglected or seek to improve. This tool should be something that is encouraged on a weekly basis as a rounding check-in, not just, again, in that reactive state when an individual is displaying or experiencing elevated levels of distress. So this first step in the well-being wheel is asking you to take pause, to check in, to notice and identify those emotional feelings, the thinking, those physical symptoms that are associated with those emotions and feelings, those prompts, and be able to then turn to this well-being wheel and reflect on those identified, already pre-populated feelings, thinkings, and prompts and symptoms. You will notice in the step care model tool, the color scheme. This is consistent throughout every tool and strategy resource that we have been able to create so that there is consistency in the visual and the usage of the tool. So you will see the color scheme flowing from a light green to a medium blue to a dark blue, using that to identify and indicate the level of need. You will also see on the well-being wheel how it's broken up into quadrants. So on the right-hand side in green, I feel healthy and resilient, life is good. There is that visual emoji with a smiley face beside it. You will see feelings and thinking related to normal mood. I'm feeling calm, relaxed, I'm optimistic. You're feeling rested and energized. And as you move through the tool, the second quadrant, again, in that green, is for an individual who is feeling, they might feel a little bit levels of stress, but overall feeling okay, feeling resilient. But this is where you start to get some of those other feelings and thinkings and prompts added in. Same as you move over to the left-hand side of the well-being wheel, you will see as it moves into that different color scheme, the elevated levels of stress, I am struggling, or the top left quadrant, dark blue, I feel distress, I can't function. These are those catalyzing or destabilizing symptoms, prompts. That is especially where you need to be able to support an individual in accessing immediate resources. So not only is the color scheme consistent throughout this, the well-being wheel, the intention and the purpose is to complete a personal check-in, find the quadrant that best describes how you are feeling, and then locate that range of steps within that color coordination before you can move on to the next step. You will see also that those range of steps, they are given a primary focus. So in green, it's resilience. In the light blue, it's debriefing, scanning, and planning. Dark blue, the focus goes on to treating the condition. So you're coming into the well-being wheel, you're pausing, you're taking inventory on how and what you are feeling. You are then turning to this well-being wheel to be able to define and find the most accurate quadrant that best describes how you are feeling, so you can take that range of steps before moving down to the second section. So once you have checked in and you found that range of steps, you are going to move down to the middle section of the step care model tool, which is the individual inquiry, another opportunity for self-assessment. So you've completed that initial check-in using the well-being wheel. You are now arriving at the second tier. And using the steps, that range of steps that were identified in the well-being wheel, you're going to locate them on the self-assessment. You can see them listed from step 1 on the bottom in the middle, all the way up through step 9. Once you've located your range of steps, we're asking the user to then read the statements to the right of each of that step, with the goal of, again, refining and determining the most accurate statement or level of need. We're encouraging people also, if they wish, to read the statement above or below, again, just to better serve being able to have that refinement piece, to being able to define one step that best accurately describes them. So once you've chosen the best statement to describe you or the individual you're supporting, you're going to use that identified step number and move on to the last peer of the step care model. And this will help you determine and be able to review the list of readily available and accessible supports, programs, and interventions to help nurture your well-being. So moving down the tool, we have arrived at the support tools. Again, this is a very specific piece of the step care model tool. This third tier section is what refines that connection and communication of support service offerings to one location for the users. This demonstrates how robust the psychological health, safety, and wellness system is, either internally within your organization, but also across the province with government-funded programs and supports and services. So you will see as you arrive again, the same color scheme as you notice those pillars of health flowing from left to right, the same titles. I will review each pillar. You will see across the top underneath those titles, the list of steps flowing from step 1 on the left to step 9 on the right. And underneath each step, you see a list of carefully curated themes and types of programs and supports that are recommended to support that level of well-being need. You'll also be able to view who this step is intended for, so you're able to further refine if that person is identifying in that level of need. Again, listed on here, universal access or employee assistant programs, basic access, and comprehensive access as it relates to maybe it may be dependent on the position or the union within that organization. But also at the bottom of this tool, this is why that piece for leadership development and education in the tool is really important. Because if you require some support or assistance in completing a referral or accessing one of these support tools, or even just the sponsorship and supervisor citizenship to be able to have that sponsorship to attend or access, it's asking you to speak to your manager for available resources specific to your organization. So the first section on the left of the sustainable health focuses on individuals who are experiencing stress, but are feeling okay. And it's offering programs and activities to improve resilience. This includes drop-in activities, informational self-help resources, and interactional self-help sessions or courses. This can include ongoing well-being webinars that you can access online, or anything related to sharing your learnings or coping skills or strategies in huddles or team meetings. The second section of supportive health in the lighter blue is focusing on individuals who are experiencing acute levels of distress and offers specific targeted debriefing or planning supports. This includes services to connect with peers with similar experiences, support after a specific event, and connecting with an expert on that as needed basis. So some of these available will be in-house. So under step 4, will primarily if you have peer support groups or peer-driven groups, but also outside services that an individual can either self-refer or request support from their leader in assisting with that referral process. The last section of critical health in the dark blue is focusing on individuals who are displaying or experiencing severe levels of distress, and hones in and offers more intensive service options. The majority of services offered on this end are not facilitated directly through an organization and primarily are on a referral basis, but can support these services through benefits packages and access to those that are being offered to employees and as well a variety of government funded programs. You will see on this list of programs, anyone with an asterisk located to the right of it is indicating an Ontario government funded program that is accessible to all. One of the best pieces related to the tool is the step 4 action plan. So this is taking it beyond doing that check-in and identifying the how and the what you are feeling. It's taking it beyond the why are you experiencing these emotions and feelings, and really putting into action this opportunity for employees to feel encouraged and empowered to take care of their own mental health using this action item document that's been added into the Step Care Model user guide, as well as any other resource. You can see the list of the written instruction on how to use the tool as well. But it's really this one fundamental piece that's encouraging individuals to take ownership and control over supporting their well-being by following these prompts that help increase understanding and awareness. So this action tool specifically, if you are listening to this recording from a leader lens, leadership support is instrumental in this Step Care Model process. After having difficult conversations, follow through is especially important. And being able to endorse and sponsor individuals gaining access to resources that will help support their well-being, the sponsorship of mental health in the workplace. So once your team member has made their way through the Step Care Model tool, if they require assistance to make an introduction or require support and a referral based on their one chosen support tool, they are encouraged to meet with you to walk through these following questions and prompts to create their personal action plan. This action plan is really setting out clear actions and responsibilities, not only for the employee, but also for the leader. And it's also keeping at the forefront that recognition of how essential mental health is for overall well-being, work in the workplace, and having that work-life balance that support inside and outside of the workplace. The follow-up piece is especially important also because it's almost allowing you to complete that check-in cycle where you can identify target dates and times to be able to round back with that individual to again check in, to follow up. Do we need to change anything on this action plan? How can I support you now? So it's taking it beyond these quadrants and really using your compassion skills, your knowledge and awareness of resources, and also talking about sensitive or concerning subjects can be upsetting or awkward. So it's really good to reconvene for that additional connection. I'm quickly going to take you through, we're going to use an example. This is one that we have used internally. We've chosen this one specifically because trends from our internal audits have indicated that often when asked how someone is feeling, our staff are responding, their go-to response is I'm fine or I'm good. And they are keeping it internal, like if they're feeling more elevated levels of distress. So this is really sponsoring that opportunity to increase your awareness skills of noticing when someone is struggling, or starting to take notice if they might require you to even just lend an ear for some active listening, or to let them know that you're there to support them if they need. So I'm just going to show you a quick video clip because it's going to also indicate some of those verbal and nonverbal communication styles that indicate maybe a greater level of need to check in.
I'm fine.
Really?
Absolutely. I'm fine. Totally fine. I don't know why it's coming out all loud and squeaky, because really, I'm fine.
So being able to use your personal inventory on awareness skills, I want you to take a moment and ask yourself if you truly believe that Ross is fine, like he is saying. Does his tone of voice indicate that he is doing okay? Does it anything related to how he's explaining it or trying to defer the conversation or deflect it. So I want you to take into consideration some emotions or some of those physical signs of how we can help support Ross in completing a check-in.
I'm fine.
So again, referring back to the three-tiered strategy for the step care model, let's start with the well-being wheel. Again, remembering that this is asking you to select that feeling that reflects current well-being on this well-being wheel to determine your health category. We're aiming at refining and finding that range of steps. The goal is to complete a check-in, that's self-awareness, and begin to define, again, those range of steps before moving further to continue to refine them. So by using this well-being wheel, I want you to take into account, and if you have the opportunity to view this recording with a group, you can press pause. And I want you to start to consider some of those signs or symptoms that Ross may be demonstrating or presenting. If you are watching this again in a group, perhaps you divide the group up, half as Ross's leader, half representing Ross as you work through this tool. So I'll give you a few moments just to do a check-in, have a conversation, and see what stage, what tier or quadrant you feel Ross is checking in with at this stage. Again, remembering what you are ultimately looking for is that range of steps. Once you've identified the range of steps, you are then going to work with Ross, moving on to next step, level 2, that individual inquiry self-assessment. So from here, we are going to select again that one statement associated with the health category, the range of steps that best describes what best might support Ross in this situation, and note that step number. So as you move down to the middle section, you again are using the range of steps that you identified in the well-being wheel, and you're going to locate them now in the self-assessment. Once you've located them up that middle column, the user is then you're going to read the statements to the right of each step with that goal of refining and determining the most accurate statement or level of need. Once you have each had an opportunity to read the statements to the right to best describe Ross, I want you to use and record the step number located to the left of that statement, because that is what you are going to carry into the final stage for supports and interventions. Once you've chosen that one particular step, you're going to move down into step 3. You're going to find that step number on the support tools chart, and then you're going to further define it and explore what the recommended types and themes of services are based on that level of need. While completing the step, please consider again choosing one resource you can explore and utilize to support your well-being when you start to create that action plan. So moving down into support tools, you're going to, again, you can use the color scheme to best associate. You're going to find the step number across the pillars, and you are going to, again, then look at that list of services provided underneath. If your organization would like to add in examples of internal supports or strategies related to those pillars, you can also do that. But it's also highly recommended that you use that quick resource reference sheet that I will make note of in a few moments, related to quick and easy access for programs. So you've moved your way through the step care model tool. You have found the step number that you have indicated best describes Ross's level of need. You've reviewed the list of programs and supports available within that column, and you're choosing one before you move on into the task of the action plan. Once you've refined and chosen one actionable item in the immediate future, again, this step takes you into the action plan. This will be a PDF document that is fillable, so it can be created and filled out in real time, which is really important. Again, taking out that step or that extra step of having to print and then go locate it at the printer and come back. You can be prepared to have these conversations or to create this action plan prior to completing the step care model tool. Again, you are reviewing those questions and prompts to help guide you through the creation of this action plan. But what you are really doing is offering a safe space and active listening for the individual to have and feel empowered to have control over creating that action plan as it relates to sponsoring and endorsing and encouraging their well-being. One thing that is accompanying the step care model tool is a quick resource reference guide. This is something that is meant to create more ease in creating the action plan, but also to put supports and services in a one-stop location. So we have been mindful to add quick links and resources under each pillar of health. So you will see the sustainable health, supportive health, and critical health. This is really important because, again, you can, if someone needs your support in completing a referral or an intake, you can just as easily meet with them, click on the link, and help support them in completing this. This is especially important if they are falling in under the supportive health or critical health, because often individuals, they just don't have enough of the energy or the awareness or the focus to complete this part independently. So that's why that action plan and offering the support and service is essentially important. I hope this presentation was helpful. We do have an opportunity to shout out and congratulate and acknowledge all of the amazing resources and references that helped us in the creation, not only of this tool, but of the intake process, and just really honing in and refining where we should shift our attention so that mental health remains one of the primary focuses for organizations everywhere. I want to thank you for accessing this recording and knowing that if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. There is a contact information located at the bottom of the slide, the wellness@waypointcenter.ca. We would love to hear any questions, comments, feedback as it relates to the usage, the purpose, or just general feedback related to the step care model tool. And we really are very hopeful that the usage of this tool and adoption and sponsorship of the narrative getting mental health on the agenda will really benefit organizations and employees everywhere. Thank you again so much for attending. Look forward to hearing from you.